Imagine a simple, everyday scene. You, after years of easily climbing stairs, suddenly start feeling your legs heavier. Getting up from your favorite chair now requires a little push with your hands. Carrying grocery bags, it feels like running a marathon. If you're over 50 or know someone who is, you've probably noticed this happening. But is it just tiredness? Is it simply part of aging? Today, I want to talk to you about a silent enemy behind these struggles: sarcopenia. Have you heard of sarcopenia? Is, in simple terms, the gradual and progressive loss of muscle mass and strength that comes with age. And here's the scary part. It doesn't show clear signs in the beginning. It happens slowly, like sand slipping through your fingers. Then one day you catch yourself wondering, why am I so weak lately? Have you felt that way? Or have you noticed someone in your family complaining about the same thing? This is the reality for millions of people here in Brazil and all over the world. Now let me ask you a direct question. Did you know that after the age of 50, we can lose up to 1% of our muscle mass every single year if we don't do anything about it? Yes, per year. And it gets worse. After 70, that loss can speed up even more. That's why strength fades, balance worsens, and the risk of falls becomes alarmingly high among older adults. Have you stopped to think about the consequences of all this? A simple fall can turn into a hospital admission, and that hospital stay can lead to losing independence altogether. And just like that, quality of life slips away. So now comes the question almost everyone asks me. Doctor, is there a way to avoid this? The good news? Yes, there absolutely is. You can fight sarcopenia. And the first step is paying close attention to your nutrition, especially the proteins you're putting on your plate every single day. Our body needs protein to build and maintain muscle. Without enough, our muscles shrink. But here's another problem. Most people think that eating a couple of eggs is enough to solve this. And that's exactly why I want to share a little-known secret with you today. Before I reveal what this powerful food is, let me get you thinking. Do you know how much protein there is in one egg? On average, about 6 grams per egg. Is it a good food? Absolutely. Eggs are fantastic. But is there something better? Something with even more concentrated protein? Easier to mix into meals? And, the best part, super affordable? Could it be that you already have this food sitting in your kitchen and just don't realize it? Let me give you a little hint. It's a food that many people overlook, thinking it's too simple or too plain. But nutritionally, it's a powerhouse. I'm talking about chicken breast. Yes, the good old chicken breast. Surprised? Many people associate chicken with fitness enthusiasts or bodybuilders. But the truth is, for those over 50 facing muscle loss, it's one of the most affordable and effective sources of high-quality protein available. And here's why this matters so much. A single 100-gram serving of chicken breast delivers around 30 grams of protein. That's the equivalent of eating 5 eggs. Think about it. With one small portion of chicken, you're getting nearly 5 times the protein of a single egg. That's a big deal when your goal is to stop muscle loss and rebuild strength. Plus, chicken breast is low in fat, making it a lean source of protein that won't overload your body with unnecessary calories. Do you see now why this food deserves a spot on your plate? But protein quantity isn't the only reason chicken breast is such a great ally against sarcopenia. It's also about the quality of the protein. Chicken contains all the essential amino acids your muscles need for repair and growth, especially one amino acid called leucine. Have you heard of it? Leucine plays a critical role in signaling your muscles to start the repair process after a meal. Without enough leucine, even if you eat protein, your body struggles to activate muscle building. Interesting, isn't it? Now here's a question that many patients ask me. Doctor, does it matter when I eat protein during the day? The answer is absolutely. Recent studies show that distributing protein intake evenly across your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, makes a big difference in preventing muscle loss. Instead of eating most of your protein at dinner, which is what most people do, try adding a portion at each meal. Can you imagine how much stronger you'd feel just by making this small adjustment? And it doesn't stop there. Another key point that often gets overlooked is the total daily amount of protein. Research suggests that older adults should aim for at least 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. That means if you weigh 70 kilo, you'd need somewhere between 84 and 105 grams of protein daily. Sounds like a lot? It might, at first glance. But when you spread it out across all your meals and snacks, it becomes much more manageable. So let's get practical. How can you include chicken breast in your routine without getting bored? The options are endless. You can grill it, shred it into salads, make a delicious chicken soup, or even prepare homemade chicken patties. The goal isn't just to eat more, it's to enjoy the process, make it tasty, and keep it sustainable in the long term. After all, food is more than fuel. It's part of our quality of life. And while chicken is the star of today's conversation, let me remind you that variety is also important. Other lean meats, dairy products, beans, lentils, and even certain fish are excellent sources of protein. But if you're looking for that high-impact, high-protein punch, chicken breast wins by a landslide when compared gram for gram with the humble egg. Surprised by that? I bet many people watching right now had no idea. Now, back to the science for a moment. Why does all this matter so much for someone over 50? Because, as we age, our body becomes less efficient at processing and using protein. This is called anabolic resistance. In simpler terms, the same amount of protein that kept your muscles strong at 30 may not be enough when you're 60. This is why older adults need more protein than younger people just to maintain muscle. Did you know that? And it's not just about strength and appearance. Muscle health is deeply tied to our metabolism, our immune system, our ability to recover from illness, and even our mood and mental clarity. Have you ever noticed how people with very low muscle mass often feel more tired, less motivated, and more vulnerable to infections? There's a direct link there. Taking care of your muscles is taking care of your whole body. Lastly, I want you to reflect on this. If you could make one small change today to protect your independence, your mobility, and your quality of life in the coming years, wouldn't it be worth it? Adding more protein, especially from powerful foods like chicken breast, might be that first step. And trust me, your future self will thank you for it. And while we're on this topic, let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you really thought about how much protein you're eating each day? Most people don't track it. They assume that a little meat at lunch or a couple of eggs at breakfast is enough. But the reality is, for someone over 50, it's often far below what the body actually needs. Have you stopped to calculate your intake? If not, maybe it's time to start paying attention. Now don't worry, you don't need to become obsessed with numbers or turn every meal into a math exercise. A simple rule of thumb is this: aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein in each main meal. For breakfast, that could mean eggs with some yogurt or cottage cheese. For lunch and dinner, a generous portion of chicken breast can easily help you reach that target. Can you visualize that? It's not as hard as it sounds. Another common question I get is, "Doctor, isn't too much protein bad for my kidneys?" This is a valid concern. But here's what science shows. In people with healthy kidneys, there's no strong evidence that a high-protein diet causes damage. Of course, if you already have chronic kidney disease, the situation is different, and you should always follow your doctor's advice. But for the majority of healthy older adults, increasing protein is not only safe, it's essential. Let's talk for a minute about how protein actually works inside your body. When you eat protein-rich foods like chicken breast, your digestive system breaks them down into smaller units called amino acids. These amino acids then travel through your bloodstream and are used by your muscles for repair and growth. But here's something important. Your body doesn't store protein the same way it stores fat or carbohydrates. That's why regular intake throughout the day is so important. Can you see now why skipping meals or eating too little protein can be dangerous as you age? And let me tell you about something else that happens. With age, your muscle cells become less responsive to the effects of protein. This is that concept I mentioned earlier called anabolic resistance. Imagine it like this. In your younger years, a small signal from protein was enough to trigger muscle growth. But as you get older, that same signal gets weaker. The solution? Send a stronger signal. And how do you do that? By eating more protein and combining it with physical activity. Speaking of which, let me ask, are you moving your body regularly? Because food alone isn't enough. Resistance exercises, like weight training, elastic bands, or even simple body weight exercises at home, work together with protein to rebuild muscle. Without movement, even the best diet can't fully protect you from sarcopenia. Do you see how it's a two-part equation? Nutrition plus exercise? If you're wondering where to start with exercise, don't worry. It doesn't mean you need to join a gym tomorrow. Even standing up from a chair repeatedly, climbing stairs more often, or doing squats holding onto the kitchen counter can stimulate your muscles. The important thing is, don't stay still. Muscles need challenge. And when you combine that with a protein-rich diet like including chicken breast in your meals, the results can be impressive, even after 60, 70, or 80 years of age. Now going back to our star of the day, the chicken breast, here's one last tip. Cooking method matters. Fried, heavily processed, or breaded chicken adds unnecessary calories and fats. The best options? Grilled, roasted, shredded, or cooked in soups and stews. And don't forget to season it well. Spices like turmeric, black pepper, and garlic not only add flavor, but also bring anti-inflammatory benefits. Wouldn't it be great to make your meals both healthy and delicious? Also, let's talk about budget for a moment. One of the biggest advantages of chicken breast is its cost benefit. Compared to many other protein sources, like certain types of fish or even some cuts of beef, chicken is often more affordable, especially when bought in larger quantities and frozen in portions. So even families on a tighter budget can prioritize this kind of nutrition. Have you checked the price of chicken breast in your local market recently? You might be surprised at how economical it is. And before we close this section, I want to emphasize something very important. Consistency matters. Eating well for 1 or 2 days won't change much, but building a habit, making small improvements day after day, that's where the magic happens. Think of every meal as an opportunity to feed and protect your muscles. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about food, it's about your independence, your energy, and your ability to keep doing the things you love. And now, let me ask you something from the heart. Have you ever imagined what it would feel like to regain that strength you thought you had lost? To get up from a chair without thinking twice? To carry grocery bags again without that uncomfortable strain on your arms and back? This isn't just a dream. With the right nutrition and daily habits, it's entirely possible, even after years of muscle loss. Are you starting to believe in that possibility? One thing I always emphasize with my patients: it's never too late to start. Even people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond can gain muscle and strength with the right care. The human body is incredibly adaptable. Studies show that older adults who increase their protein intake and add resistance training to their routines can see measurable improvements in just a few weeks. Can you imagine how that could change your quality of life? And you don't have to do it alone. Talk to your family. Share this information with friends who might be going through the same challenges. Support makes all the difference. Maybe suggest cooking chicken breast recipes together, or starting light exercise routines as a group. Small community efforts create accountability and, believe me, make the process much more enjoyable. Who would you invite to join you in this journey? Let's also talk about another silent benefit of focusing on muscle health: prevention of chronic diseases. Maintaining good muscle mass helps regulate blood sugar levels, improves balance, strengthens bones, and even protects your heart. Muscle is much more than a cosmetic issue. It's a critical organ for your overall metabolic health. Have you ever thought of your muscles as a protective shield for your body? Now, as we're getting closer to the end of this conversation, I want you to pause for a second and reflect. What small change can you commit to today? Maybe it's adding a chicken breast to your lunch. Maybe it's deciding to stand up and sit down from your chair 10 times in a row. Or perhaps it's simply sharing this video with someone who needs to hear this message. What's your first step going to be? And here's a simple exercise I often suggest. Take a notebook and write down everything you ate yesterday. Then, calculate how much protein you consumed. You might be surprised. Most older adults are getting less than half of the recommended daily protein. Once you have this awareness, it becomes much easier to make changes. Will you try this little homework today? Also, don't forget hydration. Water plays an essential role in how your body processes and uses protein. Many people over 50 reduce their water intake without noticing, and that can affect digestion, muscle recovery, and even energy levels. So here's another tip. For every protein-rich meal you eat, drink a full glass of water. Simple, right? Before we wrap up this section, I want to leave you with a thought. Strength doesn't just live in your muscles. It lives in your daily choices. Every time you choose a healthier meal, every time you decide to move your body, every time you say, "Yes, I'm taking care of myself today," you're building strength from the inside out. Can you feel that power growing already? And remember, there's no magic pill for sarcopenia. But there is a formula that works. Good nutrition, regular movement, proper rest, and consistency. If you follow this path, your body will respond, sometimes faster than you expect. I've seen it happen hundreds of times in my patients, and I truly believe it can happen for you too. Lastly, make sure to celebrate every little victory. If you cooked a high-protein meal today, celebrate. If you completed a short workout, celebrate. Progress is built day by day, and every positive step deserves recognition. After all, this isn't just about muscle. It's about reclaiming your health, your independence, and your joy for life. So here we are, reaching the end of this important conversation. And I want to ask you one last time, how much is your independence worth to you? How much do you value the ability to walk, lift, move, and enjoy your life freely? These aren't just rhetorical questions. They're real, urgent reflections, because every day that passes without action is a day where muscle loss continues silently. I've seen too many patients only realize the seriousness of sarcopenia after a fall, a fracture, or when they can no longer climb a simple flight of stairs. And I don't want that for you. That's why I'm here today looking straight at you saying, don't wait for the warning signs to get louder. Start acting now while you still have the strength and clarity to make these changes. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this. Food is medicine. And in this fight against muscle loss, protein, especially from foods like chicken breast, is your best ally. It's not about trends, expensive supplements, or miracle solutions. It's about daily, conscious choices. What you put on your plate, how you move your body, and how you care for yourself. So here's my direct invitation to you. Starting tomorrow, add one extra source of high-quality protein to your main meals. Whether it's grilled chicken breast at lunch, a portion of cottage cheese at breakfast, or even a protein-rich dinner, just start. Small actions repeated consistently build unshakable results over time. And if you can, talk to your doctor or a registered dietitian about your specific protein needs. Each person is unique, and professional guidance will help you tailor everything to your reality. Remember, what we're doing here is prevention. It's taking control before the problem escalates. Doesn't that make sense? Also, share this knowledge. Send this video to your parents, your grandparents, your uncles and aunts, your friends. Anyone you know who's over 50 and might be starting to feel that creeping weakness. Together we can spread this awareness and help more people protect their muscles, their mobility, and their dignity. And as we close, I want to leave you with this image. Picture yourself 1 year from now, getting up from a chair with ease, walking with energy, feeling stronger, more stable, and more confident in your own body. That future is possible. It starts with what you decide to do today. So, what's it going to be? Will you keep waiting, or will you start building your strength right now? The choice is yours, and your muscles are counting on you. Remember, This video is for educational purposes only and does not replace a personalized medical consultation. Before making any significant changes to your diet or exercise routine, please consult your healthcare provider. Take care, stay strong, and until next time.